Hey, what's up, you guys? Bloody Jacob to give you some of my thoughts on the latest episode of Game of Thrones on HBO, which is episode 4 of the 8th and final season called The Last of the Starks. I thought this episode was absolutely incredible. For one, I mean, I had my issues with the Battle of Winterfell episode, the Night King episode. I personally just wanted Jon to at least fight the Night King a little, and then maybe Arya still could have attacked him or something like that. But overall, I thought it was a pretty good episode. A lot of people, I don't want to talk about the last episode too much, but a lot of people had issues with the lighting and everything. I noticed the editing being fast more than I did the lighting. But I think both were done as style choices to immerse us into how the characters were feeling with, desperation, sort of the rabid, chaotic nature of it all, which I thought fit. But personally, I love this episode, and this, I think, actually, personally for me, was my favorite episode of the final season so far. People have been saying this was more like a classic GOT or Game of Thrones episode, and I see that because this is, of course, more kind of character-focused, not as much for a big battle, but really, really focused on the tenseness of these near final character interactions. And I thought it was absolutely brilliant. I was on the edge of my seat more than ever. I didn't think we were going to get that little naval attack, with Euron and everything in this episode, but I guess there's only a couple left. But I was surprised, when you see Daenerys' dragon, shot through the neck and the chest and stuff like that. That was brutal looking. Still sad to see it go down, and then I was on the edge of my seat, watching Tyrion just narrowly avoid those spheres that were going just straight through the ships and stuff like that. Just really, really intense stuff there. And of course Tyrion manages to make it to the shore with the others, and I got to talk about Tyrion's speech right away. It reminded me a lot. I'm not saying they copied it, but I think it's a really cool, parallel. Tyrion kind of making his last plea to Cersei, to do something different other than, head straight forward into all this carnage that is awaiting us. Him sort of making this not too far gone speech to Cersei, right? If you guys have seen The Walking Dead, it reminded me of Rick trying to appeal to the governor, that last time in season 4 at the fence and everything like that. And you could tell what Tyrion said about her kids. He's seen other sides to her, and fleeting moments over their series. It came to her children, like he said seasons ago. She always has her cheekbones and her her care for her children, right? And of course, we know Cersei is pregnant. Not Euron's baby, of course, but so he feels that, and you can tell it cracks Cersei a little bit. She does get a little bit emotional. But I do think, like some have been saying, it is because Cersei is in front of a bunch of others, and she kind of embraced that sort of persona she feels like she has to take on, so she sort of ignored that. And I was surprised she lowered her hand and it just sent those arrows on Tyrion, but luckily they did not. Amazing acting from Peter Dinklage there, my all-time favorite character in the show. Tyrion's always been my favorite, then right behind him is either Jon or the Hound. I've debated. But Tyrion, just a really, really tense moment there, and some people have said it's stupid that he tried to appeal to Cersei again at all, because we as viewers know she's Cersei. It's not going to work that way. But I think you really got to understand it from his perspective that he tried one last time, not just because there are all these innocents that are going to be caught in all this crossfire. She is his sister, and you got to see it from that very human perspective. Even Daenerys doesn't. Daenerys isn't going to trust Tyrion anymore when it comes to this, with what happened to not Melisandre, excuse me, but with what happened to, of course, the woman the Grey Worm loved and everything. For some reason, I'm forgetting the name, which I feel bad about right now. Or maybe I'm just forgetting how to pronounce it. But anyway, I just think it works in a way that, with Daenerys' upbringing, she was born into thinking she has this destiny, then sort of reborn again, with how she came out, with the eggs, and then she came back out with, 3 dragons, right, as they talk about, between, Tyrion and Varys and such, which was one of the best conversations of the season. She was born into believing in a destiny, But Tyrion, he was born into a family, and despite how bad a lot of that was and how bad a lot of that ended up going, he still sort of had those connections, in a people, kind of way, right? So that's kind of what he still tries to care about when it comes down to it, and Daenerys isn't really as familiar with that human sort of interaction and caring, really. So I think that makes sense as well. And of course, very brutal to see the Mountain decapitate her and then send her off the top of the platform there. A very stunning moment. You knew it was coming. I knew it was going to work out for seeing Grey Worm look away and everything like that. So that was easily the best part of the episode for sure. But there's a lot of great stuff throughout this episode. Like almost too much to talk about, pretty much. I like the early part of the episode. Seeing them all drinking and laughing. One last time again. You gotta cherish those moments. Tyrion and Jaime sort of bantering and everything. I did not care for when Bronn came in, though. Sure, he sat and he sort of drank with them as he was, talking to him with pointing a crossbow at him. I was disappointed. He went a little bit further with that than I thought he was going to. From the time he spent with Tyrion and Jaime over the seasons, it seems like more of a business thing for him, which is unfortunate. But that's how some people would still be, even if we've seen Bronn or we thought we'd seen Bronn in a better light. He doesn't kill him then, but makes both Tyrion and Jaime promise that he'll have something when it's all over and such, or else he'll be back, right? Yeah, that seemed pretty petty of him, and he's not really the kind of man you'd want him to be at this point. And of course you had the Jaime and Brienne thing. A lot of people are wanting, Brienne and Tormund, but I honestly think Jaime and Brienne felt like more of a natural occurrence because they have been developed, since season 3. A lot of people said it shouldn't have been romantic, but you can see the way Jaime's looked at her before. It's been more than that, and I'm glad Jaime let himself embrace that at least once. It was a nice scene. And of course after that, though, we see that once he hears what's going on with Cersei and Daenerys, he has to rush back to Cersei because he does still love her. He can't just take that away, no matter how honest he is about how he sees her now and such. But I think Jaime's riding off because he thinks he might have to become the Queenslayer. We shall see. Too bad for Brienne, though, but it's very accurate to Jaime's nature that he might have to at least see this through with however it goes, or however he decides to try and end it himself. I also, before I forget, I also really like the scene between the Hound and Sansa. That was a character interaction I was pleasantly surprised to see again. Tying back to season 2, and the Hound had wanted Sansa to go with him, to save her. But he says, if he had gone with me, he wouldn't have went through what Joffrey did to you, Ramsay and such. So going through that actually made her stronger. Sansa agrees, but she sort of basically in her way, kind of thanks him for his kindness, and she actually makes the Hound smile, like genuinely smile a little bit. So that was a pretty sweet moment as well. And of course, I loved Arya and the Hound riding off together as well. Both, I presume, obviously going to King's Landing. The Hound doesn't plan on coming back, and there's something he has to finish. Unfinished business, which I think means the Mountain, and Arya, of course, wants to kill Cersei as well. So it's setting up for that Clegane Bowl. It's one of the things I've been most excited and nervous about, going into the last season. Because, like I said, the Hound's maybe my second favorite character behind Tyrion, and right around with, Jon Snow and stuff. So I think Arya may try to kill Cersei. Maybe it doesn't work. She gets captured, then the Hound has to fight the Mountain anyway for her. Or just fights the Mountain to protect her, or just straight fights the Mountain. I don't know. Either way, it's going to be brutal as hell. I hope the Hound actually gets to kill the Mountain. He might die doing it, but I hope he's at least one that gets to put him down, or like very, very fatally injure him or something. I don't. The Hound deserves that. I don't think he's going to live. He doesn't even think he's going to. He probably really doesn't even want to very much. But it'd be great if the Hound at least got that before he maybe dies. But yeah, it was just a great episode. Of course, you have more discussion, more issues between Sansa and Daenerys. Sansa saying the troops basically need to rest up for a while because they're battle weary, like Cersei's aware of. But of course, Daenerys ends up acting more on her emotion. We need to take this now, before our enemies can prepare even more or whatever. And you can see both perspectives on it. It's hard to know which one is like fully correct until you actually see what comes of both choices. So it's really hard to say what they should have done actually. but maybe they should have waited at least a week or two. I don't know, because their numbers have depleted, and a lot of them are tired and just not really in the best of condition. But Daenerys wants to act now, and they're kind of forced to do that because of her. And Jon tries to help with the Daenerys side of things a little bit. He's trying to advocate for her, but you can tell he's trying to toe the lines a little bit. Trying to play peacemaker between the two, maybe trying to keep Daenerys in check a bit as well. Of course, he tells Arya and Sansa about his true lineage. Sansa tells Tyrion, which I think may have been a play by Sansa to sort of unsteady Daenerys' eye for the throne even more so. But I think Sansa's definitely a more reasonable one between her and Daenerys at this point. And I still like the dynamic between Sansa and Tyrion being touched on a little bit more as well. But yeah, I just thought this was a great episode. Like I said, my favorite of the season so far. Just so great with the character dynamics. Just really sweet moments mixed into some of the most tense scenes of the whole series. I see a lot of people complaining about this episode. I just don't understand why. Yeah, there's a Starbucks cup. That's funny. It blew up the internet. Congratulations. But people are picking at every little thing about this final season. Some are saying, "Oh, they ruined it. It's garbage now. I can't believe they gave us this shit after 2 years." People they'll pick at anything that's popular nowadays, and you can't win, especially with with the internet. People are just going to complain about anything they can. They're never going to be happy. But I honestly think minus some things I've done a bit differently so far with the Night King, at least, and everything. I still think it's been very good. Acting's been great. I think there's still been plenty of great tense moments. I'm unsure of how these final 2 episodes are going to go. I'm pretty on edge, so I think that's a good thing. I'd like to see Tyrion survive. I'd love to see Jon survive. I already told you what I think will happen with the Hound, and I think that'll still be satisfying. Arya, I'd like to see survive. I feel like Daenerys and maybe Sansa both might die tragically somehow. I hate to see something happen to Jon, just because he was already resurrected, right? But I'm worried. I'm very worried now. And people are also talking about that Jon not petting Ghost or whatever. He wanted him to be free, and the direwolves aren't pets. They're seen as more than that. I think a lot of people are getting too carried away by Jon not petting Ghost. Yeah, maybe he should have scratched him a little bit, but it was more of a respect and sort of sorrowful. Oh yeah, I want to keep you, but you deserve to be out there. I can't just keep bringing you south just to serve me and everything. So I think it was still meaningful that he left him with Tormund to march further north again. So people are just blowing up anything they can to be negative, and it's just really frustrating. But you just kind of got to ignore all the bullshit that people spew. It's really these episodes should be celebrated as some of the best of any series, and it's unfortunate that people are just being so damn picky, and I don't know. But anyway, I love this episode. I'm giving it a 9.5 out of 10. I'm very eager to see how these last 2 episodes play out. They're extended, but I do wish I would just air them together. I just finally want to see what goes down in one swoop, one night. But still, we're looking forward to the last couple for sure. Let me know what you guys thought about it. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys next time. And, yeah, peace. And also, again, that Tyrion and Varys conversation, very good. Tyrion's still trying to believe in her. He had points about it, but I think he is aware of what Varys says. He's aware of what Daenerys is kind of slowly starting to become. But he's just trying to hold on to it, and I understand both sides of it again. But yeah, catch you guys next time. Excuse me. Peace.